and Billie Eilish. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Join the asada today with Del Taco's new limited-time half-pound Chipotle Carne Asada Steak Burrito. Packed with flavor, wrapped up and grilled to perfection. The whole Carne Asada steak menu delivers the bold flavors you crave, starting at just $2.99. Only at Del Taco.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The early season alarm has sounded for Lakers Nation. Things seem to be unraveling after just 22 games. The Lakers lost by 41 last night in Miami. In the past 2 games, the Lakers have been blown out by a combined 70 points. They are 2-6 since November 19th. This is the first major challenge for first-year coach J.J. Redick. Keep in mind, Redick has never coached on any level before he got the Lakers job. Last night in his post-game press conference, he used some words that should raise some serious concerns. Redick said his team didn't show the right fight or the right professionalism. He also said it doesn't feel like we're together right now. These are major issues for any NBA head coach, but for a newcomer like Redick, getting the Lakers back on track will be a monumental task for him. The Clippers also got blown out last night. They lost by 28 at home to Minnesota. The Clippers had won 8 straight at home. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Pleased to be joined now on Tavis Smiley by Haley Taylor Schlitz, who became the youngest African-American and the youngest woman to ever graduate from law school in the U.S., and then took a job with our friend and brother, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. Haley was sworn in at the age of 21. Haley, it's good to have you on this program. Happy holidays. How are you today?
Good. How are you? Happy holidays.
I am well. If I complained, that'd be an ingrate. I'm just delighted to talk to you. As I said earlier, I love, earlier in the program, that is, I love talking to history makers, and it's a beautiful thing to have you on this program. Let me start with this. Tell me a bit about your backstory. Tell me about your mama, your daddy, where you were raised. Tell me the Haley backstory.
Yes. No, well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to talk with you. My backstory, it starts in California. That's where I was born.
Wow.
I moved to Texas only when I was in second grade, so 8 years old, and was in the public school system until I was in fifth grade, where it was definitely doing me a disservice. Racism, sexism, the whole thing in a southern public school system. So that was not a very conducive environment for me for learning, and my parents requested I take the gifted and talented test and be part of that program, to which they denied and said that I needed to be held back, to the contrary. And with that, with the experiences and that, just those barriers being put in my path, my parents decided to pull me out and homeschool me. And so with that, I started homeschooling when I was 10 or 11, fifth grade age, and graduated high school when I was 13. So having that environment where I was the focus and the value, and people who loved me and cared about me and wanted me to succeed were my teachers and my mentors and my coaches, really made all the difference.
Yeah.
And after that, I went to community college for a year, and I did my freshman and sophomore year in that 1 year at community college. Got my AA, transferred to Texas Women's University, which is in Denton, Texas. Wonderful university, really, really wanted me to succeed and made sure that I did. So supportive, wonderful faculty. And then after I graduated at 16 years old, my bachelor's of science, I went on to law school at Southern Methodist University Dedman School of Law. Graduated from there when I was 19. I was a teacher for 2 years. My undergraduate degree was in education, and I want to go into education policy because of my experiences. And so being a teacher really was a next natural step for me, something I wanted to do for a long time. And like you said, now I'm with the Attorney General's office up here in Minnesota.
Nicely done, Haley. Very nicely done. I wish all of my guests could move through a story like that the way you just did. I love it. So now that you've laid that out, let me start to interrogate some of that. There are a few questions I want to ask.
Please.
Okay, let me go back. So first of all, when you're a kid and you're testing into a gifted program, and you're doing remarkably well, passing these tests with flying colors, and the school system that you are in says, no, in fact, she needs to be held back. Were you aware of all this as it was happening? And if so, how did you feel about that? How did that make you feel?
I was aware of what was happening. I was aware of what the teachers were saying about me and aware of the racism and sexism. And I'm the one who brought it to my parents' attention. I told them the things that were going on in the classroom. My parents noticed my grades. So I was definitely in tune with everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom made sure of that because she wanted to make sure I knew why we were taking the steps we were and what she was thinking as what was best for me and to get me on board. Because when you hear my mom tell it, it was much less of kicking and screaming when you just kind of talk to the student and let them know this is what we see, this is what we think would be best for you. So that's kind of how my education got personalized to begin with, is my mom and I were able to communicate with each other. And, just being the incredible mom she is, she set up a really conducive environment for me to communicate with her and tell her where I was struggling, telling her when I was bored, when I felt, whether it was racism or sexism, and was able to take those next steps. So, as a young girl, you don't understand everything that's going on and all the nuances of why people said what they said. But that definitely sparked something in me. I got much more socially active. By the time I was 13, I was very active in my community and just civically engaged. And it all kind of stemmed from that experience that my parents didn't take that no for an answer and created their own yes with me. So I was aware, and I very much appreciated my parents having the time and the means and also the care to focus in on me and, make an environment better.
Tell me a bit more about your parents. They sound like wonderful people. Clearly they love you, but I'm always curious about the backstory, as this audience knows. Just tell me a bit more about your parents.
No, I mean, they really are, just like you said, incredible people. They are the reason, not only literally why I'm here, but also just who I am is because of them. They noticed that this system was not, wasn't for me and it wasn't serving me, and they pulled me out. But more than that, they coached me through high school and had me graduate early. There's a lot of parents who maybe would have been apprehensive and had this image in their mind of what 13 years old is supposed to be. But my parents didn't let that, even though they had their fears, of course, as parents, they didn't let that stop me from thriving and continuing on in my education. So my dad drove me everywhere to all my extracurriculars. I did so many, for that socialization aspect, but also just enrichment and, just development full circle. And my mom, she's an emergency medicine physician, and her and my grandma and my great-grandmother are all huge great trees in my village, in my forest, and just her raising me as a Black woman and just teaching me how to handle racism and sexism and how to be empowered and how to be educated and active. She is the beacon and the role model. So truly, they are just the best parents I could have asked for, the best parents for me, the best parents, period. I can't rave about them enough.
I can see the smile on your face. It's radio, but I can see the smile on your face. When we come forward, a few other questions I want to ask of Haley, given what she's already shared with us. I ain't even got to the law school part yet, graduating SMU's law school at 19. But you heard her talk about being homeschooled. And for all, I've discussed this homeschooling issue so many times on this program over the years, and what I know and what the data points out, which is rather incontrovertible, is that the group of families that are embracing homeschooling at a faster clip than anybody else are black families. Black families are embracing this notion for a variety of reasons. But black families are embracing this notion of homeschooling at rates that outpace every other group in this particular country. And so if you have questions about what homeschooling can do, just consider that Haley is the youngest African American and the youngest woman ever to graduate from law school in the U.S. at the age of 19 from a pretty good law school, I might add. More with Haley Taylor Schlitz when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
This new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Haley Taylor Schlitz, who is the youngest African American and the youngest woman ever to graduate from law school in the U.S. We'll talk about that here in just a second. At 19, she finished law school. Now working with our friend Keith Ellison, Minnesota Attorney General, of course, the brother who successfully prosecuted all those officers, Derek Chauvin and the others, for the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. So let me go back to what you were saying earlier, Haley, about homeschooling. Your parents realized that the public system that you were in was not working for you. They pulled you. By the way, are you an only child or you have siblings?
Yeah, I have two younger siblings, a younger brother, a younger sister.
Okay, good. So your parents realized this system wasn't working for you. They put you out of the system. They homeschool you. Talk to me then. Let me rephrase that. Let me reframe this. What would you say to parents listening right now who have thought about it or not thought about it, considered it or just written it off, this notion of homeschooling? Talk to me about it from your perspective as one who obviously matriculated quite nicely, having been homeschooled. Tell me more.
Yes, no, I mean, to parents listening, what I would say is genuinely consider homeschooling as an option. And I know that the idea at first may sound scary, you don't know everything you need to teach your students, and where do you even begin? And there are a lot of resources out there for homeschooling families, for starters, but also I was not entirely homeschooled. I went to a college-style school, which is where I went to a building with teachers and peers and friends and the whole thing 2 days a week, and the rest of the time I was at home. And with that setup, my parents were able to have experts in their field that they could could, direct me to and ask questions and have guidance from. But also there was a lot of flexibility, as you can tell, with this setup where I was able to move at the pace I needed to move at to stay engaged and to thrive. And that resulted in me graduating early. And like you were saying earlier, a lot of Black and brown families are turning to homeschooling now, and a huge reason for that is because the public school system is not serving them, not serving their families. It was never designed for the America that we see, the diversity that we see. Gen Z is the first majority minority generation, the most diverse generation this country has seen, and the public school system has not been updated since its creation. So there's a lot of disservice done to our Black and brown students, which is why homeschooling, where you have the parents more involved, where you have a custom environment for that child to succeed, you are able to eliminate or at least to control a lot of that racism, that sexism, and the content that's taught. I know coming from Texas, things like history, I was a U.S. history teacher. The way that they're having teachers teach that to our students is racist in of itself, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So that kind of material, you can teach your students history accurately. You can teach your students biology accurately. The books that are banned, your students can have access to all year round. You don't have to necessarily have that tough conversation with the teachers or with their peers about why your kid's reading this book or where they got it from or how inappropriate it is. Those kinds of things really make a huge difference for the student when they're trying to learn. They're not constantly questioning if they belong or battling with their teacher and peers. And that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I'm just doing the math on this. So you finished law school. I'm jumping ahead and we'll come back in a second. So you finished law, you graduate. This is funny to me. So you graduate law school at the age of 19, but then you taught for a couple of years. So somebody hired you as a teacher at like 19 and a half or 20 years old?
Yes, I did. I taught all K through 12 grades, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But like you said, yes, I was 19.
I can't imagine having a teacher at the age of 19. I mean, how do the kids receive you? Did they respect you? Did they laugh? Like how do you approach a 19-year-old teacher?
They actually, it wasn't as weird as you might think. Definitely went in on the first day with the setup of you're the student and I'm the teacher. Mm-hmm. My age was known, and of course they had questions the first couple of days. But after that, it really became a normal. I'm the teacher. This is my classroom. These are your assignments. Okay. I'm here to help and guide you. And they were the students who, tapped into that. So it actually, the first couple of days it was an interesting conversation. But after that, it wasn't any more abnormal.
Fair enough. One other quick question about homeschooling. So you mentioned your younger siblings. I don't know their ages at this point. Are they homeschooled as well?
Yes, they were. My younger brother, his name is Ian. He's 19 and he has his master's already, and he's currently getting his PhD in technology. So very proud of him. He's definitely found his field. That's his forte, very intelligent, very gifted. And my younger sister's name is Hannah. And she's graduated from college as well from my alma mater, Texas Women's University. And she's currently getting her master's in emergency services and public leadership. So I'm very proud of her. She's working hard. She's doing her thing. But to answer your question, yes, we all did do the hybrid college-style school, and it worked really well for all three of us.
Yeah, I'm glad this interview is going in about 10 minutes, and I can't wait because I'm starting to feel like a slacker. The longer I talk to you, the longer I talk to you, the more I feel like a slacker. You, your sister, and your brother. This is embarrassing. It's ridiculous. Let me press forward. So there are a couple things I want to ask that I've been curious about. First, let me back up. First of all, why law school for you? What was for every person, there's a reason why they choose to go to law school. What was your rationale for wanting to go to law school?
Yeah, well, it started with me transferring from my local community college to Texas Women's University. I was a major in chemistry at first, and I loved chemistry and math. But I did a lot of self-reflection on how fortunate I was to have parents who not only were able to notice the issues that I was facing, but additionally, they had the means to not take no as an answer and create their own yes and pull me out and homeschool me. And not all families have that opportunity or that ability. And how many students are we doing a disservice? How many future leaders, trailblazers are we missing because our public school system is flawed? So I decided to switch my major to education, and I want to go into education policy and really shape and change the way that our public school system looks. And a lot of this also I attribute to my mentors and my community, my forest. Congresswoman Barbara Lee is my godmother. Fort Worth City Council member Dr. Jared Williams, Texas State Representative Retta Bowers, all of them huge parts in my story, definitely ignited or flamed the fire in me for civic engagement and social activity, which definitely pushed me toward law school as well. Same with Representative Ramon Romero, and of course Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. I look up to him, I always have, and former Ramsey County Commissioner Tony Carter as well. All these people I've known or have gotten to know, and they have been huge parts of my story. And your mentors, your village, they play a huge role in who you become.
Indeed.
And they poured into me their wisdom and experiences, and I couldn't be more thankful.
Yep. So when you are at the point of graduating from law school at the age of 19, and about to make history as the youngest African American and the youngest woman to ever graduate from law school in this country, was that something you were aware of? Put another way, was it a goal, or did you learn later that you had made history?
I learned in law school that would be the title I would have once I graduated. It was never a goal from fifth grade to graduating college, high school, all the stages. That was never a goal to be the youngest or to have a title or a record, but I learned that in law school. And, I was just very excited to kind of open this door or break this barrier and hopefully, be able to lead other students to follow in my path and make their own records and or go to law school. It was definitely a very coming to earth, just really settling in me what I've done and hopefully what I am going to continue to do. So
those 2 years of teaching school, would you call those like gap years before you went into the law specifically? Or I'm just trying to figure out how those 2 years served you before you then found your way into Keith Ellison's office.
That's funny you ask, because actually I like referring to them as impact years. I say that because when I talk to different student groups and they're apprehensive about what they want to do, in which case resulting often in a gap year, I tell them to take that year to, number one, make an impact on your community, give back to where you come from. And that was something that I've cared about since I was 11, 12 years old, and it's only grown in me since. So teaching was something I wanted to do to give back to my community and show the students who look up to me, representation matters, and we can be anything that we set our minds to. And age and, being able to vote, for example, or being, a certain age when you graduate, none of that impacts the success and the level that you can reach. So for starters, that's where my mind already was. But as you know, my undergraduate degree was in education. So again, I've been wanting to teach for a very long time, since I was 13 years old. And part of that is also because I want to go into education policy, but I knew that the policies I write wouldn't be as effective as I wanted them to be if I didn't know what I was talking about. Yeah. So I purposely went to teach in the private school sector, in the charter school sector, to make sure that I knew what it was like for teachers day to day, what it was like for students day to day, and administrators day to day. That way I knew when I was writing policies and trying to shape the education system, truly what the issues were, and not just based on data, but on my own experiences.
Yeah. So I'm curious now as to what drew you to Minnesota. Clearly, by the time you got to Keith Ellison's office, the Minnesota AG, longtime friend of mine. By the way, when you see him again, tell him you did Tavis Smiley's show today. You tell him that
I will.
When you see him again, and see what he says. But I'm curious because clearly by the time you get to Keith's office, you already know, the whole world knows about the murder of George Floyd. At that point, you already know that the governor, Tim Walz, who was Kamala Harris's running mate, of course, tapped Keith Ellison to lead that prosecution of Derek Chauvin and those other officers. So I raise that to ask whether or not it was the George Floyd case or Keith Ellison as an individual. What pulled you in that direction?
It was multifaceted, honestly.
Okay.
First, I was looking for a space where I wasn't a complete transplant when I was moving. So I turned to California, I turned to Washington, D.C., and I turned to Minnesota because those are the three states, aside from Texas, where I was at, that I had some form of connection.
Okay.
I've been up here several times since I was young, and it was a familiar state where my family knew people that I wouldn't be completely alone up here. So that was an initial, like, why it ended up on my mind. But as you said, things like George Floyd, things like Keith Ellison, just the work that's done up here to address issues, to address inequities, really drew my attention to this state. I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to work in the Attorney General's office, and practice law was something I was ready and wanting to do. But in a state that was truly making progress in this country and serving as a beacon for other states as to what to do to address inequity and to at least move the needle in the right direction, I really wanted to be a part of that. So I decided to come up here and join the work that Keith Ellison is doing to address the inequities that we see in our country, both, Minnesota statewide, but also our country, to serve as a role model, an example for other states as to what's possible and why it's important.
Yep. So tell me more about what you're doing every day in the office.
Yeah, well, I work currently in the public safety division, so I handle about 50 cases a month, and I've really enjoyed going in front of, judges and arguing the case, writing the brief. It's all that you can imagine, honestly, being a litigator, and it really has been an enriching experience for me. I've grown a lot as a person. I've grown a lot, obviously, as an attorney, and it's just fueled the flame in me to continue practicing law and go in the direction that I want to go in. And, I have really enjoyed finding my space up here also in the advocacy realm, in the community realm. In Texas, I had a freedom school, and I worked on different campaigns, and I also worked on different policy issues like the Crown Act, and I really enjoyed that work. It was very fulfilling, and I felt I was making a difference. And I've gotten up here, and like I said, for example, Commissioner Carter and Mayor Melvin, they have been really great in just connecting me to the community and getting me exposed to the opportunities to do community work. So that's kind of what my day-to-day looks like up here.
Yep. When you're not working, because clearly you are a busy sister and you've been on a mission since you were 5 years old, it sounds like. What do you do for fun, Haley? What do you do when you're not working?
I love reading,
Okay.
and I know that some people who went to law school avoid reading just because a lot of the legal work involves reading. But for me, I love reading fiction and just things that really help you get your mind away from everything work-wise. And I also played the piano for 12 years. I very much enjoy that, and I'm a former fencer. So just exercise, just getting your blood flowing, just, really feeling that you're getting your body moving is another way I really like to just, unwind.
I was just with a young man the other day who's in high school. He's a sophomore, I think, a freshman, sophomore. He's a fencer, African American.
Yes.
I'm just curious, what drew you to fencing as a sport?
My mother, she found a local club where we lived in Texas and thought it was the coolest thing. And when she introduced it to me, I agreed. That sounded really fun, really enriching, and just, really exercise heavy. So we were looking for all three of those things and decided to join the club. And I'm a saber fencer, and so I've loved it ever since.
Cool. So my final question, and my extra question, where is Haley going to be 10, 15, 20 years from now?
I just see myself continuing to practice law. Like I said, my ultimate goal is education policy. But on top of that, I have a lot of other passions as well: civil rights, women's rights, voting rights, and I've done work in all of those and more. So I definitely plan on finding opportunities, to work in the community or with different organizations or in my career to, move those things forward in our country as well.
Yeah.
But education policy has my heart, and I'm very excited to be in the field of practicing and being an attorney. That way I can, as a Black woman, an attorney and an advocate, I really want to make sure the doors I walk through are open for others. So it's really where my heart lies and what I'm looking forward to.
I lied. I got a quick 30 seconds left. I do have one more extra question, and that is to bring this thing full circle. What do your parents make of all of this?
My parents, they're very proud. I love hearing them talk when they do interviews or they have conversations with our communities and our other families that we know. And they just really love telling our story and hopefully inspiring other families and students to really just question what system they're already in, whether it's charter, private, public, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To question it, stay engaged, have a homeschool mindset. That's what it's all about.
Her name is Haley Taylor Schlitz. It is a name I am sure you're going to be hearing a lot more of in the coming months and years. She is the youngest African-American and the youngest woman to ever graduate from law school in the U.S., finishing SMU's law school down in Texas, in Dallas, at the age of 19, now working with Minnesota AG Keith Ellison. Again, you're going to hear that name in the years to come. Haley, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I deeply appreciate this. Happy holidays to you and your entire family.
Yes, thank you for having me. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. My great honor to have had you on. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Why does Tavis say, when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. California Governor Gavin Newsom is upset with the recent pardon of President Biden's son Hunter. Newsom said he understands a father's need to protect his family, but he took Biden at his word that he would not pardon his son and is disappointed that he did. President-elect Trump is electing Peter Navarro as his senior counselor for trade and manufacturing. Navarro, previously Trump's top trade aide, recently served a 4-month federal prison sentence for defying a congressional subpoena related to the January 6th Capitol riot. A new study shows American seniors pay more for health care than those in other wealthy countries. About 25% of American seniors spent at least $2,000 out of pocket last year, compared to under 5% in France and the Netherlands. And the World Health Organization is looking into a deadly unknown disease in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The disease has killed more than 140 people. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Join the Asada today with Del Taco's new limited-time half-pound Chipotle Carne Asada Steak Burrito. Packed with flavor, wrapped up and grilled to perfection. The whole Carne Asada steak menu delivers the bold flavors you crave, starting at just $2.99. Only at Del Taco.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The early season alarm has sounded for Lakers Nation. Things seem to be unraveling after just 22 games. The Lakers lost by 41 last night in Miami. In the past 2 games, the Lakers have been blown out by a combined 70 points. They are 2-6 since November 19th. This is the first major challenge for first-year coach J.J. Redick. Keep in mind, Redick has never coached on any level before he got the Lakers job. Last night in his post-game press conference, he used some words that should raise some serious concerns. Redick said his team didn't show the right fight or the right professionalism. He also said it doesn't feel like we're together right now. These are major issues for any NBA head coach, but for a newcomer like Redick, getting the Lakers back on track will be a monumental task for him. The Clippers also got blown out last night. They lost by 28 at home to Minnesota. The Clippers had won 8 straight at home. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Environmental justice is racial justice.
Environmental justice is social justice.
This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Lowe's knows how to save you time and money. Order what you need by 2 p.m. to get it delivered same day. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes for same-day delivery. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SNAP to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park,
Los Angeles, California.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Some breaking news here from my West Coast listeners. Apparently there was just a 7.0 earthquake in Northern California, in the Redding area, I think. 7.0 earthquake. That's a big one. For those of us who live in Southern California, L.A., where I'm sitting right now, we're used to this, but 7.0 is a massive earthquake. But more than just the 7.0 earthquake, there are now announcements blaring out up north that if you can see water, get to higher land. They are now under a tsunami warning. That sounds like Indonesia or somewhere. We're not used to that over here. But there is a tsunami warning right now. If you're listening to me on the West Coast, a tsunami warning for Northern California. They are saying if you can see water, get to higher ground immediately. But a 7.0 earthquake in Northern California. I hope that this doesn't turn into an ugly, horrific story by tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow's Friday, so it's the best of Tavis. I won't be here live tomorrow, but we'll be following the story the rest of the day. But that's where we are right now. In Northern California, 7.0 earthquake. It's a huge, as I said, earthquake. Huge shaker and tsunami warning, which is unheard of in these parts. I digress for now. We are praying for all those persons up north right now who are in harm's way. That said, as promised, to close out today's program, a conversation with Timby Dentonhurst, Timby Dentonhurst, a beauty and culture writer and author of Homebodies, a novel. We've invited her on this program to talk to us about 47 gifts under $50 from Black-owned businesses for this holiday season. I know many of you are looking, always searching, trying to find great gifts, but from black-owned companies. So we'll let Tim be loose on that list here in just a moment. But the other thing I want to get her take on is this controversy around this Walmart commercial, a new Love Jones commercial featuring Nia Long, Lorenz Tate. It's an amazing commercial. It's a beautiful commercial. They look amazing. As I said earlier, Lorenz and Nia ain't aging. They look amazing in the commercial. I love the throwback. Love Jones is on my top 5 list of black romance movies. So it's an amazing commercial. I'll let you hear it in just a second. I just hate the controversy connected to it. But before I get to the controversy about this commercial, let me play it for you. Here's the commercial featuring Lorenz Tate and Nia Long for Walmart.
Is this an early present?
You know I don't like to wait. Merry Christmas, babe.
Aw, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Mind if I play a little something for you?
Let's do it.
With Walmart gifts that spark timeless memories, give the gift that shows you get them. Welcome to your Walmart.
For you Love Jones fans, you get the Isley Brothers thing right. Remember Nia's character, Nina, was looking for an Isley Brothers CD? Okay, y'all get it. Just making sure if you Love Jones fans, y'all didn't miss that. That's what the Isley Brothers thing is all about. So y'all get it. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. So here's the controversy, and we'll let Timby. First of all, let me say hello to Timby. Timby, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
If I complained, I'd be in great. I'm doing well. Good to have you on the program. I didn't want you sitting there without saying hello to you. So here's the controversy. So the commercial is running. It came out early this week, I think on Tuesday. People are loving the commercial. Everybody's responding to it. The problem is that Walmart, as you may recall, on November the 26th, announced it would be ending racial equity training programs for staff. So Walmart has backed away in the Trump era. After Trump wins, they have backed away from DE&I. They also announced that they are not extending their Center for Racial Equity, the 5-year, $100 million philanthropic commitment created in 2020, dedicated to addressing the root causes of gaps in outcomes of African Americans in education, health, criminal justice, and other areas. So they're disbanding their Center for Racial Equity. They've done a 180 on DE&I. You see this, right? But they put out a Love Jones commercial featuring Nia and Lorenz to pull us into Walmart during the holiday season. And so a lot of black folk ain't feeling this. They're like, we love the commercial, but we ain't falling for the banana in the tailpipe. And so there's a huge controversy around this. People are talking about it online everywhere. What say you, Timby, about this commercial, about Walmart turning away from DE&I and all the controversy the two conjoined is creating?
Yeah, so I think that, first, the commercial is really great. I enjoyed it. I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is so cute.
It is,
It's very nostalgic. But to your point, and I think what's interesting to me too is the nuance of the situation, because it's like, on one level, we know that there are people who are running their DEI programs are not talking to the people who are putting the ads together. So we know that
That's
there was
right.
some
Disconnect
black talent team
Yeah.
group of people who worked really hard to secure this spot, probably have been planning this for 18 months, this is probably a lot of time and energy in the making. But I think the fact that the story that is emerging is that juxtaposition points to the fact that black consumers are extremely savvy, and that you can't keep courting us where it's one without the other.
Yeah.
And I do think that's why it is imperative for us to keep, the black dollar circulating within our communities, because this is not going to happen with, a small brand that's trying to, run their sale for Black Friday, and they're a small black-owned business out of wherever. Walmart can get away with stuff like this, where they can, on one hand, look like this is a positive move towards representation, and think they can entertain us without actually serving us. And I do think then it becomes our thing, our community's decision. Am I going to continue to patronize this? And obviously, in some situations, in some environments, Walmart is the only option. So it's not to shame people who are going to continue to go to Walmart, but it's if you do have the option, maybe you would look elsewhere. Like, I can appreciate the commercial for what it is. Thank you, Walmart, for bringing Lorenz and Nia back together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take myself somewhere else to do whatever I got to do.
Well, that's what it's all about. This whole controversy is about the hypocrisy, as Timby just laid out quite nicely. Mm-hmm. The hypocrisy of dropping a commercial to court black folk while you're nuking programs designed to benefit them. And black folk, you know, you can't sleep on Negroes. You know, they picked up on that, and they're signing off on it. I'm looking at just a number of posts. People are posting about this everywhere, and I'm just reading some of these posts, and it is interesting to sort of see this. You know, the thing I was thinking about last night, Timby, in preparation for our conversation and watching the commercial, the thing I was thinking about last night was, or is, how Lorenz and Nia feel about this. I over my career, I've interviewed both. I consider both friends. I've known them for years. But it's fascinating for me to think about how they process this. To your point, these Christmas commercials are shot 12, 16, 18 months ahead of time. They know that they got to get ready for the holiday season. So I can guarantee you Walmart didn't shoot this commercial. It dropped on Tuesday. They didn't shoot it last weekend. I can tell you they didn't do all of this after Donald Trump won re-election. They did decide to back away from DE&I after he won the election. They are closing down their Center for Racial Equity after Trump won the election. But this commercial, I can guarantee you, was shot well before Donald Trump won this election. And so Lorenz and Nia, you know, agree. There's no gun to their head. They agreed to do this Walmart commercial. And it's a beautiful spot. And to Timby's point, you know there's some black folk. Ain't a bunch of white folk created this commercial. I can tell you that right now. So there's some black folk on this team that helped make all this possible. And then after all is said and done, and the commercial's on the eve of getting ready to run, then you announce you backing away from DE&I. You're closing your Center for Racial Equity. But Nia and Lorenz have already been paid. The commercial's already been shot. You can't pull it back. So I am curious as to how Lorenz and Nia feel about that. Again, they're being pushed out there as an appeal to black people, while, again, the company is backing away from programs that they have brought online over the years to benefit black people. Just fascinating to think about how Lorenz and Nia may be processing this. Okay, there's that controversy. When we come forward, we'll talk to Timby about these 47 gifts under $50 from black-owned businesses this holiday season. You're listening, and I'm glad about it, to Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-78.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Tim B. Denton Hurst, who I'm pleased to have on this program for a few minutes left here between now and the top of the hour. So this list, 47 gifts under $50 from black-owned businesses. I love the fact that Tim B has curated this list for us. Before I get to some of the things on the list, and we didn't got time to walk through all 47, obviously, but this notion of wanting to buy from black-owned businesses, my sense is that as the years go by, Tim B, more and more people are tapping into that, trying to find spaces and places where they can buy holiday gifts from black-owned businesses. Is that your experience?
Absolutely. I think post-2020, especially in our community, to your point about, like, we were talking about Walmart earlier, and, you know, they had this big investment and are pulling back. I think that as Black people, we kind of were looking at that rush of people pledging money and things and looking at it like, we'll see how it goes. But I do think that in my personal group of people, everyone was like, you know what we can do, though, is buy black. So I know that for Christmas, we were doing a lot of blacks. Like, we were always making sure we're buying black. And that's really stuck, for me at least. Like, I'm always trying to find different black-owned brands to gift to friends and to family in any situation. Like, if I can find it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that.
Is it, since you follow this stuff, of course, given what you do as a beauty and culture writer, and by the way, her book is called Homebodies, a novel. We'll say a word about that before I lose her at the top of the hour. Give her a chance to say a word about that, I should say. But is it your sense that as the years go by, we are seeing more product from black-owned businesses that make good holiday gifts?
Absolutely. I think that especially in the beauty space, the design space, the outdoor space, I think we're just seeing a crop of like just great design and really passionate business owners. And I think it's like Black women are the fastest growing entrepreneurial group or something like that. And it's very reflective in just the amount of things that we have and options that we have. There's pretty much an answer for just about anything that you could be looking for.
Yep. All right, so here's what we're going to do. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Tim B, I'm going to ask Tim B in the next few minutes while we're coming forward to just run through her list right quick and circle like 10 items. We're going to run through them right quick. Just grab 10 items, Tim B, that different categories, if you will, that we can offer as examples of the kinds of gifts under $50 that you can purchase from black-owned businesses. We'll tell you where you can find the list that Tim B has curated as well, so you can write all this down. We'll tell you where you can get her list and have her walk through at least about 10 items, maybe right quick, that are on the list, and we'll have her say a word about her book, Homebodies, a novel, and then we'll wrap this program today. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
All right, Timby Dentonhurst, I got about 4.5 minutes here. So let's just let me yield to you to run through a few items on this list of 47 gifts under $50 from Black-owned businesses, and Timby will also tell you where you can find her list once she shares some of the items on the list. Take it away, Timby.
Yeah, so first up, I want to get into the first category on the list, which is beauty and self-care. And we have so many options in the beauty space. There's really great brands like Topicals and like Danessa Myricks and Bread Beauty and Edam and all of these, like, just really great brands who are making everything from like lip gloss to foundation to skin prep to toners, like anything you need in your makeup routine, you can grab from there. There's also Maya Nijay. I never pronounce her name right, but she's a amazing fragrance designer, has like a beautiful fragrance house. You can get her discovery set, which is 5 different fragrances that they have at the brand for under $50, which is amazing. There's Hyper Skin, which is another skincare brand, and Ami Collet, which makes my favorite lip gloss of all time. And then also Black Girl Sunscreen, because we should be wearing SPF every single day, no matter the season. And so I love Black Girl Sunscreen. That's at Target. That's at Walmart. That's literally everywhere. And so it's really, really easy to grab and not that expensive. It's like probably like under $20. Under $20. And then in the home goods space, there's like there's like a lot of candle options. Everybody makes a candle. There's this one brand, Loam, that I really, really like. They make a really beautiful scented one. They have this one called Scenic Route that I wrote about, and it's very spicy and earthy and like really, really nice. There's also Curves by Sean Brown. And so Sean Brown makes a lot of different things. He really got popular for these rugs that were based on CD covers. So he did one for like Outkast and for Lil' Kim and like all these different albums, and it was great. But he makes a lot of things now. So he makes puzzles, he makes shower curtains, and like anything that you can think about for like creating a very Black feeling home. Then there's Sheila Bridges, who's an interior designer. And so she did a collaboration with Le Creuset, which is the stoneware brand. And so there's a bunch of stuff with her Harlem toile pattern applied. You can get that on like just about anything. Plates, cups, like anything that you could need. And then there's a lot of Black art options. I love Etsy for that. They just have a ton of things, whether it's going to be, you want to do like, you know, like any art style you have, you can even go vintage. Like there's a lot of Etsy sellers who have like vintage lithographs from any like show you might have seen that could have been at a museum that has a Black artist. So I really love to do that. There's also Lichen, which is half black owned, and it's out in Queens, and they have like a really, really cool selection of very aesthetically pleasing, like mid-century modern type vibe home design and home goods, and I love that. On the clothing front, I really love Telfar, which everybody's familiar with. The bags are great, but I also love their socks, which are really cheap. And then also Savant Studios, which is out of Brooklyn, and they make these really great hats that everybody in Brooklyn wears, and it's kind of a fan club of sorts. Brother Vellies also has great socks that are $35, which seems pricey for a sock, but they're very cute and very comfy, and I highly recommend. Go ahead.
Yeah, give me your last one. I'm running out of time. Give me your last one. Your last one you're about to say.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry.
And then last thing is I would say like some food condiments. Like I really love mumbo sauce from Capital City. You know, I'm a DMV girl, so shout out to them. And then also pepper sauce from Aunts at Uncle's, which is a really fly, like vegan, vegetarian forward cafe out in Brooklyn.
Yeah. And the list that you've curated, 47 gifts under $50 from Black-owned businesses, can be found where online?
On The Strategist. NewYorkMag.com/strategist. If you type in The Strategist to Google, you'll see it.
There you go. That's where you find it. Her book is called Homebodies, a novel. I am out of time. Timby, we'll do it again somewhere down the road. Her name is Timby Denton Hurst. Thank you for coming on. Happy holidays to you. I appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you for having me.
My great delight to have had you on. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Tomorrow, the best of Tavis Smiley on these stations all across America. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep the faith.